afternoon, everybody. How are you? It's your leader and master again. So, how are you? I hope you're keeping well, and I hope you've been enjoying that lovely day. It's really very, very warm. So sorry this is up a little bit later than I had said for those of you that had mentioned it to you. I know that some of you have been in contact with me where you've been out gardening and doing things and have maybe irritated your lower back or sacroiliac joints in particular, around your sacrum there and your hip flexors. So I'm going to put this routine together for you just so you can repeat these movements and see if you can just loosen it up and get it back to where it was beforehand. Okay, so as always, anything that's not comfortable for you, remember you don't have to do it. Rest down if you need to. Try not to let your back do any of your work, and neck in line with your spine. Think about your posture and your form, and when you feel that you cannot manage to maintain good posture, then rest down. Okay, remember contraction is gentle, pubic bone upwards towards your waist, not letting your back pull away from the floor, but at the same time, unless I ask you to push it, imprint the spine, don't push your back down into the floor like that. Okay, it creates a pelvic tilt, and that's not necessarily good alignment regardless, depending on what movement you're doing. Okay, so I don't think I have any sermons for you today other than the fact that I can't remember whether I mentioned it or not, the wearing of masks. I wear a mask. This is my black mask. Okay, lovely. And everywhere I go, I wear this. I was wearing one of the blue ones, but it didn't seem to fit the face very well. Now, I have to say, for all the lovely people that are around and all the kindness and everything that's going around, there are some that are not so kind. I have been asked whether I was going to rob a bank. You can see people laughing and sniggering when you're passing them, with no thought that maybe you're wearing the mask because you want to protect somebody else that you care about. So I don't understand why people no longer are afraid. I know there's a lot of debate about masks, you know, protect somebody else against you, but don't protect you against it. It's sort of, I'm not quite sure that I understand that. In that case, you know, they're giving them to nurses, so are they really saying that they're not really of any use to them? Now, not the COVID specific masks. So not quite sure about that. I shall be wearing my mask and my gloves whenever I'm out, and for as long as I feel is possible to, I know it doesn't protect me, but I like to think that it helps a little bit, you know, just in case somebody would cough very close to you. That virus is still out there, folks, and it will be with us for a very, very long time. And I know that I definitely would not want to end up my days with that. And I know that anybody that you love, you wouldn't want that for them either. So for the sake of shoving something over your face, what's the big deal, okay? And I would think if it's good enough to put it on your face when you're in a plane and you're going to travel, then why not? It's all right to wrap something around your face but not call it a mask. But anyway, I'd like to say also that you do know that I have a lot of nurses, doctors, consultants that would be in class with me, and I have the greatest respect for them. I also got a text message from one of the ladies who is on the front line and all the key workers to say that they are extremely grateful for the people who go out and clap on a Thursday, and in some respects they're a little bit embarrassed because they're doing their job. They feel privileged, she said, to do it. And I think they are wonderful, because it's scary enough as not a key worker, thinking that, you know, God forbid, or whoever could catch that belonging to you or yourself, which you would never want for anybody. So it's daunting for them to be going into work every day, and possibly for those who don't have proper protection. So big up for them, and thank you very much, and keep safe. That's the end of my sermon. For those of you who didn't want to listen to it, that's fine. We won't take umbrage. So feet nice and wide. You're just going to loosen that spine up first, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to take you down onto the floor and do a sequence of movements to stretch those joints that are around the sacroiliac joint, the sacrum, and the iliac joints themselves. Okay, so feet are nice and wide, knees are nice and soft, shoulders relaxed, head in the center of your neck and shoulders, ribs connected to your hips, slightly soft at the knees. Nice big deep breath in through the nose. Exhale down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale one more time. Now we're just going to gently relax those shoulders. Walk the feet in a tiny little bit. Take a nice breath in, and on your exhalation, just pull up gently from the front of your pubic bone towards your waist. Not too tightly. You don't want to feel your hips coming towards me. And breathe in, release. Exhale, gentle lift of the front of the pubic bone up towards your waist. Breathe in, release. Exhale, lift. Breathe in, release. So you can just feel that natural kind of connection with your pelvic floor out towards your hip flexors, up and across the waistline. Breathe out in towards the transverse abdominis muscle. Exhale, or core, and release. Big out breath, just gently lift. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift, and remember, the tighter you lift, the more likely you are to tilt that pelvis forward. That's not correct posture. You want your hip below your shoulder. Breathe in, exhale, lift. Inhale. And some of us with weakness in our lower back, even that lifting of the abdominals can make you feel a little bit tired in the lower back. Now, nice breath in, slightly soft at the knees. Lift the trunk of the body out and over. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. And lengthen the arms all the way out towards the floor, ladies and gentlemen. Chin tucked in, keeping the top of the head facing the floor. Don't push your hands downwards. Don't shove through your arms. Just let them hang loose. Breathe in through the nose. And exhale, slowly stack that spine, tailbone all the way up, one vertebra at a time on top of themselves. Shoulders away from the neck, head up last. Breathe in, lift. Exhale. Now remember, breathe in and out again as you need to. So just a little lift of the abdominals and gently bring the spine up, just in case that lower back would be a little bit tight or tighter. Inhale up, exhale. And again, a sense of lifting your upper body out of your lower body and just drawing forward towards the floor. Those arms are loose. Now roll the spine back up, let the shoulders fall away from the neck, head up last. Breathe in. Exhale. And flow into that movement. Just float down towards the floor. Remember to try not to stop as I teach, but if you need to, that's fine. Slightly soft at the knees, not bent. Nice breath in, and just gently build the spine back up. Don't shrug your shoulders, just let them fall into place, and just pop the head up last on the in-breath. Exhale, forward, float. Nice breath in. Legs nice and long. You should feel a good stretch up the back of the calf muscles, back of the knee towards the bum, or the ankles up towards the knee. And exhale as you lift. And slowly relax. Now, you're going to place your palms, one on top of the other if you can, just into the small of your back. Rotate the shoulders back a little bit. Now be careful with this movement, and if it's uncomfortable on your back, then don't do it. If you feel that you can't keep your abdominals lifted, then don't do it either. Nice breath in, or make it smaller, modify it down. Now exhale. Slightly soft at the knees, lift the abdominals internally, pubic bone towards the waist, shoulders back. Now squeeze the buttocks. Push the hips forward a little bit. Drop the shoulders just back over your heels. And press those hands down below your bum. And your chin stays in line with your chest at the angle of your spine, and your neck stays in line. And inhale up. So if I turn face-wise, nice breath in. Exhale, pull up on the abdominals to support the back. Slightly drop the shoulders back over the heels of your feet. Shoulders are rotated in, so the abdominals are lifted. You're holding through here. You're not holding your breath. Your chin is here, not thrown back there. And inhale, lift. Exhale, pull up on the abdominals, rotate the shoulders back over the back of the heels, squeeze the shoulder blades in tight. Now squeeze the buttocks, so everything should be tight, the buttocks, the thighs, the hamstrings, calf muscles, shins, arms are pressed just down below the bum, shoulders rotated into the midline of the back, gently breathe in, lift. 2 more times, exhale, pull up on the belly button, shoulders down, chin in line. So if you think about it, your spine is back at that angle, your chin is to here, not tucked down here, not thrown back there, putting pressure on your neck, and then breathe in, lift. Exhale, toes are forward, squeeze the shoulder blades back, pull up tight on the tummy, and, sorry I was looking out the window there, and breathe in, lift. Lovely. Now soften the knees and just slow roll hip to hip, hip to rib. Now the knees are soft. If your knees are locked, you've got nowhere to go but to lock into those hip lines. So lift the hip. So if you have a string attached to your hips and you're pulling it towards your armpit, exhale, lift. Inhale, release. The knees are soft. Breathe out, lift. Inhale. So movement occurs in the trunk of the body. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Do that a little bit faster. Breathe out. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. So rather than pushing your hips side to side, you're lifting them upwards towards the ceiling. 3 to go. 2 to go. Last one. And gently release. Now I'm going to ask you to take yourself down onto the floor. And I want you to lie on your back. Pillow or towel always underneath your head. I'm going to lie down nice and flat. Now lengthen the spine. Make sure that your pillow or towel is underneath the crown of your head, not stuck underneath the nape of your neck where your head is rolled over and your chin is high. Knees and feet hip distance. So I want you just to gently extend both legs out and pull your right leg in towards your chest. And breathe in, extend that leg. Exhale, left leg in. Bum stays flat to the floor. Now, some or books may have you pulling in here. Okay, I'd like you to keep your hands behind your knees and gently pull the front of your thigh down towards your rib cage. Keep your bum flat to the floor. You don't want to drop your heel down here. Okay, so keep your heel in line with your knee. Inhale. Exhale, pull that leg towards you. Now, don't keep your elbows out there, otherwise it affects your neck alignment. Don't rest them on the floor. Breathe in, extend. Exhale. Just out towards the outside edges of your hips. Breathe in. Exhale, right leg. Inhale. Now make sure when you pull the leg in, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't push into this foot and you don't roll your bum up off the floor towards you. Defeats the purpose. Exhale, pull. Inhale. Try and make sure the leg comes in straight over that hip line, that's not slightly wide or turned inwards to the midline. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do 4 more. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, pull. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull. Breathe in, release. 1 more time, left side. And gently release. Now I want you to bend your knees, feet hip distance. Nice in breath and both legs coming together. Exhale. Inhale down. Breathe out. Now we're using the core, okay? So if you notice, as your feet go back towards the floor, you're maintaining that mental connection and physical with the pubic bone gently up towards the belly button, as opposed to this, okay? None of that. Control, lift in, elbows wide. Exhale. Hold the tummy. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can inhale here, keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, hold the tummy. So that sense of a lift from the front of the pubic bone, gently in a straight line towards the belly button internally. Exhale, pull. Now remember, as you take your elbows wide, don't pull your shoulders around your neck, and breathe in, down. Exhale, 4 to go. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull. Now remember, Pamela, I hope you don't mind me using your names, but nobody's going to know who's who. There's that many Pamelas and Dianes and everybody else. When you pull your knees in, be careful. Listen to the lower back. Okay? 2 to go. Exhale. You can modify this down to one leg at a time if you prefer. And last one. Shoulders relaxed. Lovely. Now, I'm going to ask you to just turn yourself, ladies and gentlemen, gently round towards your side. Okay? And you stay as you are, but I'm going to move this way just because of my vertigo. Okay, so knees up to me, shins tabletop, one heel over the other. Nice breath in, and just lift that leg. Inhale, down. Head back in line with the spine. Breathe out, lift the leg. Inhale, lower. Now remember, you don't want this. See that alignment? No good. Twist the knee. You don't want this. No good. Draws on the hip also. Affects the knee. Shin tabletop. So try and get your foot, your shin and your knee on the same line. And you're just lifting it. You're not rotating it. Just up and down. And this top hip stays stacked over the lower hip. Breathe in. We'll do 6 more. As if I knew what I'd already done. I don't. 5. Breathe in. Exhale, 4. Now you'll feel this in your quadriceps also. But what you're not doing is you're not twisting into the lower back. That's very important. You don't rotate into the sacrum there. Now we're going to do 8 a little bit faster. So lift and lower. And 7. Try not to drop the full weight of your top leg down on the bottom one. 6. 5. I miscounted. 4. Never mind. So that's a few extra. 3. And 2. And 1. And lovely. Hold and pulse. 10. 9. 8. Small. 7. 6. Keep breathing. 5. 4, relax the rest of the body. 2, 1, and rest down. And give that leg a little rub. Now, you're going to just push yourself up and bring yourself down onto the other side here, like me. And I'm going to stay where I am and repeat my movement on that same leg. Okay? But you're doing the opposite leg. Nice breath in. Again, knees are stacked, one above the other. Feet one above the other. Hips in a straight line from the shoulders, spine nice and long, pillow underneath the head, and on top of the lower arm. Exhale, lift the leg. Inhale, down. Breathe out, lift. So you are doing your opposite leg, but still facing me. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Breathe out, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. So anybody who is not used to coming to me and is wondering why I'm not turning on to the other side, lying on one side gives me vertigo, and yes, I could get up and stop it and turn my mat and do it a different way, and what's the point? You understand what I mean. 4 to go. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Breathe out, lift. Inhale, down. 2 to go. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale, lift. And inhale. Now we're going to do 8 a little bit faster. So lift and lower. And try not to rest the leg back down. 6 and 5 and 4. Now some of you may feel that just at the top where the leg meets the thigh. 2 to go. Lift and lower. We're going to hold this one and pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Hips are stacked. 3, 2, 1. And gently stretch that leg out. Lovely. Very beautiful. And gently bring that knee in. You can give that leg a little rub if you need to. Now we're going to roll round onto our tummy. Beautiful. And you can remove your pillow or towel. Now elbows are out wide. And we're doing a back extension. So elbows are out to the side of the shoulder, the hips are level, the spine is lengthened, the face is not on the mat, and your chin is aligned to your chest. The most important thing is to make sure that your feet are hip distance, that your hips are connected to the floor at all times, shoulders away from the neck, breathe in through the nose, and as you exhale, just lift the top rib away from the floor and gently push into your hands. Now don't create anything that looks like cobra where your belly is up off the floor and your elbows are locked out. Inhale down. Exhale, press the hips into the floor, keep the neck alignment. Lift the top ribs. So these are your top ribs here, just below your chest. And we're just going to chest as in bazookas, or mammary glands, or man boobs. Elbows are soft, so we're not shoving the elbows up here. We're not locking out the elbows, ladies and gentlemen, because that shoves your shoulders up around your neck. And for those of us who have maybe any weakness in the lower back, you can feel that physically pulling on the back, but not in a nice way. Inhale down. Exhale. Lift the chest yourself a little bit, and then just press a little bit into the hands. Keep the hips tight to the floor, feet hip distance, and breathe in lower. Listening all the time to your back, your hips, anything that feels uncomfortable. Your aim is not to come up high. That's not the goal. The goal is to be able to perform your movement with as much correct posture and form as possible, to become aware of how it feels when you do your movements. Breathe in lower, elbows back to the floor. Exhale, that mental connection between your mind and your body. Shoulders relaxed, breathe in down. Exhale, again, try not to go for the push out chin thing, because you can see how your neck is all impinged down on. Now, if you're up high enough where your shoulders are away from your neck, but that chin always slightly towards your chest for me. Inhale, breathe out, push. Shoulders down. Inhale, elbows are soft. Last two, exhale. Keep the hips pushed in, ladies and gentlemen. Breathe in lower. Exhale one more time. And while we're here, we'll just do a little bit of, so just bend and straighten the elbows. The ribs touch the floor, they come away from the floor. The shoulders are away from the neck, so you'll feel that in your arms also. Again, don't bring your elbows up into this position. You don't want your elbows stuck above your wrists. 4 to go. 3 to go. 2 to go. Last one. Now we're going to slide the hands in here. We're going to push the bum back. I'm going to sit back into a back relaxer stretch. So gently chin towards the chest, arms fully extended if possible, forehead on the floor. Knees separated so you don't give yourself any regurgitation, cause any acid reflux. Breathe in through the nose. Now again, not everybody can stretch their arms long because that's quite tight around the neck and shoulders, so if needs be, rest your elbows on the floor. You can do one arm extended, one arm bent. If you find it difficult to sit back on your feet, well then keep your bum above your knees and just stretch everything else further up the mat. And breathe in slowly. Bring those arms back in. And gently roll yourself round onto your back again. Lovely. Now, nice in-breath and exhale. Shoulders relax, lengthen the spine, roll across the back of the hips. And I want you to take a nice in-breath. Now, regulars can go off and do that, so we're going to do our segmental shoulder bridge, and you can go off and do it. Those of you who are unsure, not done it before, like to look at it, like to hear it, here we go. Make sure our hips are level. On your exhalation, you pull up strongly on that tummy contraction, so pubic bone up towards your waist. You'll feel the small of your back imprint the floor. Gently peel the bum away from the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Knees stay in line so don't let them push out. And just gently lift the rest of the spine up to wherever is comfortable for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who have been doing excessive gardening or have stressed your lower back, listen to your spine. Listen to those areas that are uncomfortable. It may be best that you only come up here and then gently down. If you come up too high, so you can perform your movement, once you come up to the top of your shoulder blades, you start to push the spine back down on itself again. So, or impinge it a little bit. So, keep the body nice and level to the mat. Breathe in. Exhale, pull up on the tummy. Now you should still be breathing out as you lift. Inhale at the top. Exhale down, vertebrae by vertebrae. But some of you may pull back, imprint, and then feel as if you've run out of breath, and that's okay. Just let the breath go and then breathe in again. And exhale on the way down. And if you breathe, empty your lungs quicker than you think, then re-breathe in. Just don't hold your breath. In through the nose. Exhale, pull back. Feel the pull back. Now, big issue with this is that when people or human bodies make their out breath, they tweak this up too fast, okay? They're not aware of whether they've imprinted the lower back or not, and a lot is lost from your segmental shoulder bridge and the beauty of that movement in Pilates by doing that. So breathe in preparation, breathe out, contract, as if you're pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button without actually lifting anything up off the floor, but you'll feel the natural line of the tailbone peeling. Then peel your bum up separately. The spine ends down between the cheeks of your bum. It doesn't finish at your waist. So you want to peel that up first and then gently up to where it's comfortable. Don't go up to the top of your neck. Inhale and then exhale down. As if you're laying the spine down on the sand, vertebrae by vertebrae. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, pull back. Slowly lift. Inhale down. Exhale. My mistake. Breathe in always in preparation. Exhale on the execution of your movement. And again, if your pillow or towel is too high, ladies and gentlemen, you can move that away. Sometimes when you're doing bridge or segmental bridge position, which is specifically for the spine, although it does use the quadriceps and the glutes, what happens is that if your pillow is too puffy uppy, it'll shove your chin down into your neck like that, which is uncomfortable. I can personally use that because it sort of flattens down as you pull up. So, but ideally up to you. Move it away, push it back again when we finish this. 1 more time. Exhale. So for those of you who feel discomfort when you go into that movement, then all you need to do is just imprint the small of the back and roll out. You don't need to lift anything off the floor at all. You'll just feel a natural curl of the cheeks of your bum rolling slightly up towards your hips. 2 more times. Breathe in. And 1 more time. Now, you can, with discomfort in your lower back, do this movement, okay? Personally, I don't particularly think that this is beneficial to everybody, but that's just my opinion, okay? Because what happens to make the sacroiliac joints uncomfortable is that they loosen as we get older, and they slide. And they slide because we twist our body, okay? Like golf or sport, anything at all where your upper body is twisting on your lower body, okay? Now you can try this. I would ask you to keep your knees hip distance and your feet hip distance, and only go the smallest distance to the right and to the left. Do not force your knees all the way down to the floor, and do not let the knees come together. Okay, shoulders nice and relaxed. Head sits in the center of the shoulder line. And as you rotate slightly, just be mindful of that lift from the front of your pubic bone up towards your waist, just so it gives your lower back that little bit of support from the transverse abdominis muscle or your core. So 2 more times. I think, in my opinion, it's very easy to swing your legs off to the side and just to aggravate the lower back in the areas that we're trying to make them feel a little bit better. So you have to be very careful. And we are human beings, folks. We do let our minds wander. We don't always focus. We're not always aware. So you've got to be careful with a movement like this. And gently back towards the ceiling. Now lengthen your left leg down the mat and bring your right knee in towards you. I want you to pull this knee in and then take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, right hand to the side of your shoulder, keeping that knee close to your upper body. Just slowly roll the knee off to the side until you feel a nice stretch around the gluteal muscle, which is your bum, as it heads in towards the top of your hamstring. Now, don't let your leg flop away from you, okay? Keep control of it. Keep your left elbow bent as if you're trying to keep your right knee as close towards your left rib as possible. And hold it until you feel that stretch. The longer you hold it, the more the muscle will lengthen out. Breathe in through your nose, keep your shoulders relaxed, and exhale down. And gently roll that knee back to center, and then extend the leg back out. We're going to bring the left knee in towards the chest. Again, we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, left arm out to the side of your left shoulder, and slowly pulling the leg upwards rather than outwards, okay? Pull it up. So the left hip will lift slightly up off the floor, and you should feel that stretch from the middle of your left thigh at the back up towards the cheek of your bum and around the outside edge of your hip, so to speak. Hold the stretch. So this arm is pulling in quite tight. Breathe in through the nose, shoulders relaxed. Try and concentrate on that area of your body where you feel the stretch. Everything else should feel relaxed so that you're not just holding a load of angst in your body. And breathe in very gently. Release that stretch. And slowly extend that leg out. Now close your eyes. And take your relaxation position. Shoulders rotated in towards the midline of the spine, head facing the ceiling. Well, face facing the ceiling. Eyes closed. And breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth. Now, while you're breathing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure I may have told you this a million times before, but remember, if your lower back is uncomfortable, try and sleep with a pillow between your knees, especially if you lie on your side, okay? So that it keeps the knees hip distance as much as possible and doesn't allow those areas that I'm saying to slip in on or out of themselves. Remember, if you're driving your car, to make sure that your bum is not lower than your knee line. So make sure you've got a pillow or a towel underneath your bum if necessary, the back of your hip line towards the back of your bum, to keep your hips a little bit higher than your knees, okay? Be careful how you get in and out of your car. Don't twist yourself upper body wise too much before you bring your legs out with you, okay? Those things can make a big difference. The material that's in the seat of your car, if it holds you tight when you're trying to rotate, not good for the lower back or those joints we're talking about. If you're sitting watching the telly, continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, try and breathe in for 7, out for 11 if possible. When you're sitting watching your telly in the evening, if you have your feet up on something, make sure that your feet are in line with your hips. Make sure your feet are not higher than your hip line. Don't cross your ankles and don't cross your knees. Now, that's not to say you can never do that again, but while your lower back is uncomfortable, especially around the outer edge of your hip and those SI joints, try not to do those things. It does make a difference, folks, and it aggravates those areas if there is a little bit of inflammation in there. If you feel it's quite uncomfortable, you could place a frozen bag of vegetables, not directly to the skin, but with a tea towel or a flannel around it, just to try and get rid of the inflammation, because that will make it feel uncomfortable and sore. 5 minutes 3 times a day, just to get the inflammation down. Now, one more time, nice big deep breath in through the nose. Exhale all the way out through an open mouth. Now, very gently bend your knees. Hence why I always say to you, bend your knees, roll your bum away from me, and then roll your knees and your hips to me. Shoulders follow, and gently push up. Always be careful about how you get up off the floor, okay? I know a lot of you have been doing gardening, ladies and gentlemen, because of the weather and because we can't really do anything else. Again, be careful. Try not to stand and bend down towards your flower beds or your garden or whatever you're doing. Bring a pillow or something out that you can kneel on so that you're closer to them. Bending over the bath, washing your hair, anything like that where you're drawing over. If you're not lifting through your abdominals, your back has to take all that strain. So just be very careful of little things like that that we don't tend to think about. Press your palms into the floor, lift the knees, and slowly, hands forward, tuck the toes underneath the ankles, roll back towards the feet if you can, knees out and nice and wide, and just gently roll into the hands and roll back into the balls of the feet, into the hands, balls of the feet, into the hands, balls of the feet. Now slowly bring the knees in line and push the bum towards the ceiling. Relax the arms, chin in towards your chest. Take a nice breath in and slowly bring the spine back up, one vertebra at a time, ladies and gentlemen. And take a nice big deep breath in. Inhale through the nose, exhale down, breathe in, lift. Oh, do you hear my knee? And give yourselves a big clap. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, that piece of routine for any of you at any time, if you're feeling your lower back just a little bit achy, a little bit uncomfortable, think about maybe what you've been doing that has created it, that, or made it feel a little bit like that, and do that routine, and it should help a little bit, okay? Or you can add it on to any other part. You can do it at the end of a body blitz class, or you can add it on to one of your more favoured Pilates classes, and hopefully it will help, okay? So as always, ladies and gentlemen, wash your hands, stay safe, stay inside if you can, because it is getting harder to social distance when you're outside. So look out for yourself, because there are those outside who are not going to think of you. You need to think of yourself, and stay safe. Miss you very much. I send you all my love, and I long for the days when we may be able to be in each other's company again for a little bit of crack. The hugs may be out the window, and those are the things I miss the most, that warmth and that connection between us. But still thinking of you all, so stay safe, lots of love.